What's up guys, Matt here again, and today we're going to be changing the front right brake pads on my 1985 BMW 635 CSI. Here's some of the tools you're going to need for this. You're going to need a good ratchet set, and that is going to be needed to take off the lug nuts on the tire, and it's 17 millimeter. You're going to need some brake clean, your new brake pads. On the 1985 BMW, this is the brake pad that will eventually go into the piston. Some paper towels. You're going to need some brake lubricant for the brake pads. You're going to need some anti-seize. You're going to need a breaker bar. You're going to need a jack stand. You're going to need a brake piston tool. Metal wire brush. In my case, it is a metal wire brush. You're gonna need some bungee cords to hang up your caliper. You're gonna need a grease gun or silicone grease. You need a flathead screwdriver, a sturdy one, and you're gonna need a jack. This is the one that came with the car. All right, so let's get started. For this car, this will be the jack that I'm using. And this car has 4 jacking points for the side. There's one right here. And that's the same on the other side. There's one down there. And this is where you should put your jack, because if you put it anywhere else on the side, you're gonna bend the metal. So before you jack up your car to change the brakes, you're gonna want to make sure that your car is in park, or if you have the stick shift version of this, in first gear or reverse. And you're going to make sure that the parking brake is on. Also, to make taking out the brakes easier, you're going to want to make sure that the steering wheel is turned to the right all the way, so that way the wheel comes out like this. That way you're going to have an easier time with a caliper. So before you jack up the car, you just want to put your jack on the proper point, but not actually jacked up. Then what you're going to do is you're going to put your breaker bar, which is has a 17 millimeter socket on it. You're going to put it on the lug nut, and you're going to have to turn it counterclockwise. So in this case, you're just going to lift it up until it gives. There we go. And you're going to do that for every one of these lug nuts before you lift up the car. That way it's going to be easier for you to take off the tire with the ratchet when the car is actually lifted up. After you have the car jacked up and the tire is off the ground, you're going to want to put a jack stand right on the other jacking point right here. So you can see right there. You're going to want to lower the car. Onto the jack stand. Just like so, but not all the way. Just until it is nice and firm. You can't move it. That way it takes some pressure off the jack, and in case the jack were to fall or something like that, the jack stand would catch the car. Also, you could put a jack stand right under the car, right? Well, there's a jacking point in the middle as well. You could put a jack stand right there for added measure, but I found that this works good for me. So now, you're just going to take your ratchet, you're just going to get every bolt out like that. You're going to do that to every bolt until they come out. So after you take off your tire, you're going to have this piece right here. Your lug nuts right there. You're going to just set it over there. And you're going to take your tire. You're going to put it on its side, like so. And you're just going to slide it over until the top of this rim is under the frame. Like that. This way, this is another safety measure. just in case the jack were to fall, the tire is going to catch it in the front. And that's just all for your safety. Alright, so now you're going to want to take this, you're going to want to put it off to the side, and we're going to work on that after we take off the caliper and the brake pads. So now, when you look at your caliper, you have this little retaining pin right here, and you're going to want to just pop it off. So you're going to put the flat head screwdriver just against the rotor like that. You're just going to pop it off, and it's going to fly towards you because it's held under by a lot of pressure. Alright, so now that you got that off, you're just going to put it to the side along with your lug nuts, and you're going to turn to the side right there, and your caliper has these two places where you can put an Allen wrench. And normally on a normal Chinese or US made car, this would be a nut and bolt. So what you're going to do now is you're going to take a 7mm Allen key. You're going to pop off the sides of the protector sleeve, just like so. And this is going to require a little bit of pressure depending on how tight it's on there. So you might need a little breaker bar, but in my case I don't. So you're going to want to push down on your Allen key until it goes. You're going to want to do that for the top and the bottom. You have to be careful though. All you have to do is just get them loose. Top and bottom, get them loose. Bottom one's gonna need a breaker bar, so you're gonna have to put a little extension on here. If you have that, if not, then just put all your weight down on this. But after you get them loose, you're gonna want to grab your bungee cords, because you're gonna have to hang your caliper up, because you do not want to put any pressure on this brake line right here. So now after you start undoing one, you're going to undo this one all the way, and you're going to end up pulling it out, and it should be a long kind of screw. You're going to pull it out all the way. You're going to set it off to the side. And you're going to do the same for the bottom. You're going to want to be careful though, because then the caliper is going to want to fall. So you're going to have to be holding onto this while you're unscrewing the bottom one. So I have just taken out both of these screws, and the caliper does not want to go. So you're going to want to you're going to want to put the screwdriver right under it. You're going to want to prop it up. And you're going to want to do that as you're holding onto this. After you get it loosened up, you're going to want to just pry it off with your hands if you can. It should be on there tight because of the parking brake. Alright, so this one's coming off. So after you get it off, like so, you're going to want to hang it by the bungee cord. So you're going to put a bungee cord right through here. If you have the rattle retaining clip, you're just going to want to hang it up. You're going to somehow tie the bungee cord onto this, and you're going to hang it up onto the spring. So now you should have your brake caliper hanging like so. Now whenever you do this, you always want to inspect your brake rotor. As you can see, I have uneven wear. So right here, it's thicker than over here. Also, you want to check this part out to see if it's completely flat or if there are any like grooves or something in it, because that's an indication of also uneven wear, and you should change out your rotor. So now you're just going to pop off the brakes. You're just going to put a screwdriver in here and pop it off. You're going to want to be careful because the one on the left, the one on the front left tire, has a sensor in it, so you're going to want to carefully disconnect the sensor, or you can break it in the process, but if you break it, it's no biggie. It's only $9. After you have your brake pads out, this is the one that goes onto the piston, and the other one, as you can see, they are still fairly new, only about halfway in wear. You're going to inspect your caliper. As you can see, my caliper is it's all right. This little rubber thing is a little bit bent, but that's fine. What you're gonna do next is you're gonna clean out this whole area with your metal wire brush, and you're gonna do the same thing for this side right here to get rid of the old brake dust. After your rotor is cleaned, you're gonna take some of this brake cleaner, and you're gonna just spray the rotor down right here, just like so, and then you're just going to wipe off this stuff with a paper towel, just like that. Clean off any brake dust, as you can see, anything on there, any grease, so that way your brakes, when you put them in, they're not going to be degrading faster on one side than they would on the other side. Also, while you're here, you're going to take your metal wire brush and just work on this area to get rid of this rust, so that way it prevents it from rust welding again, because in this area we're going to put some anti-seize. And you're going to do the same thing for that little retaining pin right there. Now comes the fun part. You're going to take the old brake pad and you're going to set it up against the piston, and then you're going to put in your brake tool and you're going to turn it. So now after you put the old brake in and you have your brake tool set up, you're going to be turning it until you can't turn it no more and that piston is fully compressed. So now you're going to take your new brakes. After you compress the piston, you're going to put some brake lubricant on them, and you're going to spread it on the back of them where they actually make contact with the caliper and not the rotor. And now after you finish doing that, you're going to put some lubricant right here, and right here, and finally right there. Now you're going to put your brakes back in place. This one should go first, then this one. So the first one should go in just like so. So you're going to do that. It should look just like that. And now you're going to want to put it back onto the caliper, and I got some lube right there enough to get it off the rotor. You're going to put it back onto the caliper right here. You're going to line up these ends with there and there on the bottom and top. It's the same thing. And you have to make sure to take off your springs. Also, you're going to know if you did it right if the caliper actually gets back on there, because if the piston is not compressed enough, then it will not go on there. And it should fit like a glove. Then all you have to do is just put the bolts back in, and you should be all set with the brakes. But remember to always push it in, so that way it makes putting the bolts in a lot easier. Now what you're going to do is you're going to take your bolts, and that's how they should look after you took them out, and this is how they are going to look when you put them back in, with some lubricant on them. You're going to spray some brake cleaner on a paper towel, and then you're just going to take off all the grease off of that. Now you're going to take your anti-seize and you're going to put it on these little bolts, and the reason you put it on there is so not only they stay lubed up and it makes it easier for you to take it out when you change brakes again, but also to keep this little rubber part intact. After you put the anti-seize on your bolts, you're going to just put them back in here, and you're going to screw them in until it's tight. You don't want to over tighten it because you might strip the bolt, or it might make it very hard for you to actually get it out again. After you get the pins in, you're going to put some anti-seize right here, because this is going to go there, and you're going to put your wheel back on, and you're also going to put some anti-seize in here, so that way your lug nuts fit in nicely. Then finally you're going to put this pin back on. You might have a little bit of struggle with this pin, but should not be something too bad. For example, I'm just putting in with my finger. A little bit of struggle, but after you get one in, the other one should go in with the help of a screwdriver. And that is how to put the brakes on a 1985 BMW 635 CSI. Thank you for watching.